Hey guys! Coming up in this episode of the KickCast, why it's okay to fail at a crowdfunding project, the Almond goes plus, Dragonball done right, and a beautiful game that storms the gate. So sit back and relax. It's time for the KickCast. Hey everybody! Welcome to another episode of the KickCast. You might see things that look a little bit different than our previous episodes. We're trying out a little new format on here, so let us know your feedback on if you like it or not. Just email me at kickcast@ktdata.net. Any kind of input is always good. So welcome everybody to episode 8 of the KickCast. As always, I am the one and only Ktdata right here. You can find me. And this is the show where we go find the most unique and the newest and coolest projects that you can find on crowdsourcing websites such as Kickstarter or Indiegogo. And there's a lot of other ones, but those are the two big ones I know. And if you have never heard of the idea of crowdfunding, it's the idea where somebody goes, oh, I really want to make this project, but I need some backing. So can we get enough people who will donate some money to reach the set goal of dollars that I can use so we can get this project going or not? And that's essentially what crowdfunding is. And here, I'm a huge fan of the idea of crowdfunding. I think it's actually a great way to get projects out there or to get feedback on there. So let's first off, before we actually jump into our projects right now, we're actually going to go into some news on Kickstarter. So the first one actually is that a couple days ago, maybe a week ago, Kickstarter actually now releases their raw stats. And if you're kind of a numbers geek like me, wanting to know how much money is going through the Kickstarter, or, well, not specifically through Kickstarter, but how much money is being raised through it, and how many projects, you can actually go to kickstarter.com/help/stats, and it will actually show you the raw data they have there, and it's updated at least once a day. And let's see, I just checked it maybe half an hour ago, and right now they have 83,972 launched projects, 40.1 million successful dollars. Wow, that's a lot of dollars. And a 43.59% success rate. So about 50%, a little bit lower than that. And I like how accurate that is. And of course, that page will be updated every day. And if you're really curious about what different categories are successful and everything, they actually drill that down to each category, and you can play with all those numbers. I know a lot of people like numbers and everything, so that's why I kind of mentioned that in there. So in other news, speaking of that $40.1 million successful dollars, one of the biggest projects that Kickstarter has ever seen is the Pebble Watch. If you guys have not seen the Pebble Watch, it is a e-ink smartwatch that runs by Bluetooth that connects to your phone, and you can communicate with that. Pretty cool apps and everything. It raised over $10 million by itself, and finally, after a couple delays, Pebble Watch is finally shipping. What was cool about it is at CES, which I was able to go to, so if you want to see some CES coverage, go to ktdata.net. We were actually able to attend the Kickstarter, or not the Kickstarter, the Pebble Watch press conference on there, where I actually got to see a live demo of the Pebble Watch in a couple different colors of Pebble Watches. And what's actually funny about it is that I got the black one, but after seeing the red one and the white one in person, I kind of want both of those too. But they announced there that they would start shipping on the 23rd of January, and that was actually yesterday. They actually started shipping. Unfortunately, they're shipping a little bit less than what they planned on doing, because they only got about less than 500 units to their distribution center, and the rest are actually stuck at the airport due to documents. But I totally get that, you guys, if you've ever been to the airport, going through all the scanners and just, taking off your shoes and everything, that's already a hassle. Imagine trying to ship something from China through that way, and it's a little bit difficult. So I get it, they're just, but they'll get it pretty soon. They say they will be getting more shipments along the week. So once customs or whoever at the airport, the TSA is holding up, finally will get us our watches. And I'm actually excited because I backed this project on day 2. So the second day they launched, I actually went and backed it. So I should be getting my watch fairly soon, as they're going by order of that. And what's even nice today, fresh off the presses, just early this morning, the iOS app and the Android app are now available in their respective stores. So you can actually go to the Apple or the App Store or the Google Play Store and get your numbers. I already have mine fully loaded right here, so I can actually show you. Can't really do anything with it, but I have my Pebble app ready to go. Once I get the phone or the watch, I'm off, good to go right there. I'm excited for that. If you guys haven't noticed, if you guys kind of want to keep track of Pebble's progress on their shipping, they created a site lovingly is called ispebbleshipping.com. So you can head over there and you will see how many units they have shipped out, and you can kind of gauge when you're getting yours. So the idea is to get all the Kickstarter backers done first. So that's about roughly 70,000 units they're shipping out. Then they have pre-orders that they need to fill on there. So they're going to be pumping these out fairly quickly. And I am really excited to get one of those watches, and you'll get a review. KickCast Rewind on there, and I'll show you how great how I think of the watch. I think it's going to be great anyways. So, and to kind of top off the news, this is one thing that I actually wanted to share is there's an article called Why It's Okay to Fail at Kickstarter. You always hear these success stories on Kickstarter projects that are successful, but what happens to the ones that don't reach their goal? Obviously they're not going to get any of their money, unless you go through a different source like Indiegogo, where you can get some of it. But, there are a lot of projects that, well, I wouldn't say a lot, but there are a fair number of projects that don't reach their goal. We've covered a couple of them that have not reached their goal, and we've covered many of them that have gotten to their goal. This article on Mashable is actually written by Zach Supala. Hopefully I said your name right, Zach, of Spark. And it was actually, when I saw this, I'm like, Spark, that sounds really familiar. What turns out to be is that Spark light bulb adapter was actually one of the projects that didn't quite make the cut for one of the episodes of KickCast on there. And it's a very good article, especially if you are thinking of doing a Kickstarter project or some kind of crowdfunding project. He kind of breaks it down on his project on why they didn't reach their goal and the goods and the negatives of using Kickstarter or another crowdfunding source as a launch platform. Because a lot of people kind of think, oh, I can just throw it onto one of these crowdfunding sites and I'll make my goal automatically, right? It's not quite like that. He talks about kind of the pros, you get good reception of the product, which I think is a very useful thing when you actually first start, because you might think it's a good idea, but other people might not think it's a good idea. So if you put it out there, you can get some feedback on them, maybe ideas on how to tweak your project and everything, how to make it a little better, or, see why people aren't liking this and how you can change it so people will want to get your product or project, should I say. And another thing was it gives you good visibility. You get your name out. I mean, of course, like I said at the top of this article right here, when I heard the name Spark, I'm like, that sounds really familiar because I saw it on Kickstarter. I know there's a lot of projects too that do that just for advertising and promote and publicity and to see how people will respond to it. Like the Oculus Rift, that was definitely not set for consumers. It was looking for developers to be interested and kind of get the hype up on it. So that's good. And you can potentially find investors who are really interested in getting to your product right there. So he also talks about negatives too, where Kickstarter specifically has this rule that you can't sell multiple units. And another common problem, I've seen a lot of crowdfunding projects, and I do see a lot of crowdfunding projects. It takes me a couple hours to kind of narrow down the list on what makes the KickCast, so I see a lot of project pages and everything. It talks about having too high of a funding threshold. Sometimes you have a really good idea, but if it costs too much, you may get that group of people, but they can't, push you towards that goal. So that's something to think about. And having a high price point is another thing. And trying to make sure you do your research and make sure similar products don't come out. And in that case, Spark, there was a lot of other products that came out that, he admits are better products than the Spark. So, but it gives them ideas on what they can do better on there. So, I think it's an excellent read if you are really considering doing a crowdfunding project, or if you're just a fan of crowdfunding projects. It's good to learn, and this is what I like about it. It's like, even if your project's not successful, hopefully you'll be able to learn something and take away from it. This is one of many posts I've seen where people have kind of gone back and dissected their ideas on why their project wasn't successful and what they can do to improve it on other ones. The Goldfish Garden, he actually did another one. We posted that on our Facebook page at facebook.com or facebook.com/KT, or not KT, sorry, wrong show, facebook.com/KickCast. And you can actually read his postmortem right there. And then speaking of so I highly recommend you check out that article. And speaking of Facebook, if you go to our Facebook page and like it, you will be entered into a chance. Actually, speaking of Facebook and the Pebble Watch, you will be entered to win one of these sweatbands right here. And if you actually like this episode post that I'll be posting this video up on, you will get an additional entry on that. And while we're doing it, giveaways, chat room still out there? I think the chat room's out there. So we will actually be doing a small giveaway in the chat room. And well, let's just do it right now. So first person in the chat room to say first person in the chat room to say what convention I just barely got back from will actually win a wristband. Okay, let's see who's there. And Laser Norm is the first one with lightning fast speed, saying that I went to CES. So Laser Norm, I will be contacting you right after the show. So congrats, hang around, congrats, and you have just won yourself a Pebble sweatband on there. So I will get your details on there. All right. So let's kind of jump into the products. If you've listened to previous episodes, you know that before I picked 4 different products on there. So we're slimming it down to 3 because I wanted to fit the news section in there. If you guys don't like this news section, let me know. And again, any kind of input is good. So let's go to our first project, the Almond Plus. And you're probably thinking, this must be another food project that KT found that you can't say no to, right? Not quite. The Almond Plus, I'm taking this description off their Kickstarter project, is a blazing fast 802.11 AC Wi-Fi 1.17 gigahertz per second, compatible with hundreds of Z-Wave and Zigbee smart sensors router. Okay, I understood what that meant. But probably a lot of you are like, that all sounded Greek to me. So essentially what the Almond Plus is as a Wi-Fi router that's using 802, it's a Wi-Fi router that has a touchscreen on it, so you actually don't have to have a computer with you to set it up. You can actually tap on it to set it up. And on top of that, it uses the 802.11 AC Wi-Fi standard. What that means is right now, most routers at home are using the 802.11n specification, and that's how the Wi-Fi components actually talk to each other, and it limits what speeds you can. So 802.11 AC is actually the latest Wi-Fi standard that provides gigabit wireless speeds. So before you would only be able to get maybe 300 megabits over a Wi-Fi. This is a gigabit, so that's 1,000 megabytes or megabits. Sorry about that. Megabits on there. So it's almost as good as plugging yourself in right into a gigabit switch right there. So it's about 4 times faster than the 802.11 standard on there. So that's what the 802.11 stands for. And then now you're going, okay, what is the Z-Wave and the Zigbee stuff? If you're into home automation, in home automation, those are kind of the 2 big standards, is the Z-Wave and the Zigbee. And that's when you can put smart sensors around your house that can turn on your lights, lock the door, and all that good stuff right there. get temperatures, know if somebody's knocking. So they're all kind of home automation standards. So it's compatible with that. And you're wondering what's going on. So this thing is giving you a Wi-Fi signal out through your house. And a lot of these standards use those Wi-Fi signals or similar Wi-Fi signals to do that. So essentially you can control your entire house and get Wi-Fi to everybody in the room around, all in this tiny little box. To give you a little bit more specs, to get a little bit more techie, again, it's 802.11ac plus 802.11n dual band support. So that means even though I don't think a lot of people do not have an 802.11ac device or a device that can do that, they still have a lot of N devices, so it's backwards compatible. You can actually use both at the same time. That used to be an issue too when some of the Wi-Fi standards came out. You couldn't use N if somebody else was using a G or something like that. In this case, you can actually use both at the same time. So that's actually a good thing. It runs on there's 2.4 gigahertz MIMO antenna. So there's two antennas that kind of switch off. That is for the N specification, and then the 5 gigahertz MIMO, which can get about 867 megabits. Right there for a different spectrum. So those are different spectrums. That again gets a little bit technological between the two standards on there, but it all, of course it supports everything, and it runs the touchscreen on it is pretty cool. What actually drew me to this is that it's called the Almond Plus because the original Almond that these guys created is right now the #1 rated router on Amazon.com. It's pretty dead simple to install, because I know one thing I always hate telling people is when they set up the routers, like, I don't understand all these settings. Why do I have to go to this number in my web browser while I'm plugged in to get it all? The Almond simplifies it. There's a touchscreen, and you just got to go and tap and say, oh, I want to secure my Wi-Fi. So you go into the security screen and put in your password, and there you go. It's all set up. So I've told you this, it's running on a lot of the new technology for wireless and home automation. So you're probably going, this is probably going to cost $200-300, right? Because to get all of this outside the Almond Plus, it's usually about $600 or so, $500-600. What they're doing is ridiculous. Their price point for the Almond, $99 for the router. And that's actually comparable to some of the N routers that you have now. So it's actually kind of future-proofing it if you look at it that way. So here at the KickCast, we have a rating system, back, track, or SAC. In this case, I would actually have to say track, and that's just because there are not that many 802.11ac devices out there yet, and I don't know a lot of people who do home automation, but I would say back if your router's on its last legs and it will last a couple more months, definitely back this, because this is a good value for what you're doing. And I think these guys aren't just starting a brand new product. They've gone through this process before, and Aperture would buy it right there. So you can actually control everything in this nice little neat box, and it looks pretty cool. So that is the Almond Plus right there. So let's go on to our next project right here, which is a little bit weird. If you guys follow me on Ktdata.net, you know that I'm a big anime fan, and that's why we do the Ktdata Anime podcast over there. And this project kind of brings that out. So if you have ever heard of anime, you've probably heard of Dragon Ball, Dragon Ball Z, or Dragon Ball GT on there. And this project is called Dragon Ball Done Right. So a couple years ago, there was a live-action Dragon Ball movie, and it was okay. The idea of this project is actually to create fight scenes from Dragon Ball, Dragon Ball Z, and GT in 1080p with actors on location using CGI and professional fight choreography to get this all going. Keep in mind, this is not going to be a full-fledged movie. This is totally a labor of love from fans of Dragon Ball. Of course, Aperture. It is over 9,000. And they're what they're gonna do is pick specific clips on what people are to do. And if it was me, I'd definitely pick the over 9,000 clip to actually have them recreate. I'd love to see their take on it. And so you're thinking, okay, they want to do all this work and stuff. It's probably going to cost them. They're asking for a boatload. They're only asking for $500. They've already spent about $1,000 of their own money to invest in equipment, and they just need that slight push over the edge to get this web series. So it's going to be posted on the web. I can probably assume YouTube or something similar, maybe Vimeo or something like that, where you can watch it. And I actually, I'm a huge fan of Dragon Ball Z, and I've always been disappointed with the live action version because I thought you could go a little bit farther and make it look a little bit cool. So this is totally a labor of love of fans. You can tell they're big Dragon Ball Z fans and everything. The only thing that I can see a negative about this project is I kind of really wish they had, a sample clip. Nothing like even too long. Maybe, 20 to 30 second clip of what they possibly can do. Because if you watch their video, all they actually do is show scenes from Dragon Ball Z. Here's their page right here. And that's the only thing that I really wish I could see was a little bit more of that. They actually show a fair amount of background on there, so I'm pretty confident they can do it. And for $500, help these guys out. They have pretty good reward levels too. You can they'll get you you'll receive some stickers that they've made exclusively for the Kickstarter project. Or the one that I would probably do is this $25 more right here. You get a sticker, and then you'll get a collector's edition in DVD format before it's even released to the general public. I like that. Yeah. So that's why I actually think this is a good project, and in my sense, I would say back on there. And who doesn't love a little bit of Dragon Ball Z, right? I know I'm a fan of it and everything. So that is Dragon Ball done right, and I really wish them luck. Okay, so we've gone from kind of high-techy router things to getting Dragon Ball, or at least clips of Dragon Ball, done in a more professional fashion, or at least in a fan's point of view, really good version. Let's kind of, I've been kind of going all over the place on our project, so how about we finish off with a nice new game, and it's called Storm the Gate. Oops, that's not the right one. Storm the Gate. So Storm the Gate is actually a tabletop dexterity game, and you're like, what? Tabletop dexterity? What in the world is that? So you can actually see on the screen for all you watching, it's actually a wood game. So it's a rectangular wood board, and there's you have two elastics on each end, on the long ends of the board right there, and then in the middle there's actually a wood plate that has a small door in the center right there. So the idea of this game is to fling the wood tokens through that door to the other side. And what you're trying to do is actually get all your tokens to the other side. So once a player has all the tokens on the side, the game's over, and the person who got rid of them is the winner. Pretty simple enough right there. And what I actually like about this is this board. It looks like it's fair. They actually spent a lot of time kind of designing it and making it, and it looks gorgeous. Like leaving this on a tabletop looks really good. Yeah, Aperture. It's actually like hockey-ish sort of, when you're trying to get rid of the tokens and everything. So I think this is very well designed. It looks really pretty. And what actually drew this to me is because I've been a backer of board games and tabletop games on crowdfunding sites too, that they're cool and all, but the learning curve is enormously high. I have little cousins and everything, and they like to come over and play and everything. But when I kind of introduce them, they kind of get bored because there's like this rule book you give them, and you got to explain all these different terms and everything. But this right here, I think it's actually a great one because there's not that many rules. Like, all right, take the wood puck-like thing and use the elastic thing and shoot it through a hole and try to get all your tokens on the other side. I think it would be great for anybody who has kids, or just a friend who wants to come over and hang out. And it's like, oh, you want to play this? It's a good party game too. So I can see a lot of people doing that, and it's, you know, pretty cool idea. They're, again, this is another low level one. They're not aiming for thousands of dollars right now. They're only looking for $6,000 so they can get the tools to kind of mass produce this a little bit more, and it's a really cool looking board game on there. This one I would definitely say back, especially if you're a fan of tabletop games and everything. You know, and when I do say back, I really do back a lot of these projects. I'm probably going to back this one. They actually have a special reward level where you can actually get something engraved on the board. You know, maybe I'll get one that says KickCast on it, or sit back and relax. It's time for KickCast. You know, something like that. It's really cool on there. So I'm excited for that. So you can see that's definitely for back. And that's actually it for the show. Hopefully I didn't go over anything. For some reason I felt like I was rambling a lot, but hopefully I didn't go too far over that. Again, we still have that giveaway. Make sure you head on over to facebook.com/KickCast, like the page, and if you like this video post, you'll see it. It's going to be giant on the page. If you like that, that's going to be another entry, so you can actually win one of these Pebble wristband, or not wristbands, sweatbands, and they're pretty cool looking. Again, if this is a little bit different of a format than what I've been used to, if you guys, I'd love input on there. Email me at kickcast@ktdata.net. Tell me what you like, tell me what you don't like, and I will try to kind of change that. Or you can let us know on Twitter at KickCast, or on any of our social networks, Google+, plus.kickcast.net. I'm trying to kind of get more of the chat room involved too, so you should watch us live at live.kickcast.net. Our next episode is going to be February 5th, 2013. So I'm changing the time a little bit. So it's not going to be on Thursdays anymore. It's going to be on Tuesdays. But come by, live.kickcast.net. And if you are interested in being part of this show, I would love it if you either do an audio recording or a video recording. If you find a project that you really want to talk about, record a 2 to 3 minute clip, video or audio, send it to me, send me a SoundCloud link or a YouTube link, or just email me, and we'll figure out a best way to get me the video, and we'll play it on the show, and talk, and I can give you my input on what I think about the project that you kind of found and everything, and we kind of go in there. I really want to get you guys involved, because as much fun it is for me to talk about Kickstarter projects, I want to hear what you guys think too. So it's really, I'm really excited about that, and so I will see you guys in 2 weeks, February 5th. So until then, guys, bye.